The war was over. At least that's what they told us. We'd won, apparently. Whatever winning meant in a war that had left half of Earth's outer colonies in ruin, and billions of lives extinguished across both human and alien worlds. The Erixa conflict had burned its way across 5 solar systems, consuming years, ships, and sanity. I was Sergeant Dax Helen, Earth Command, Ground Division. 6 years of frontline service. I'd lost half my unit in the siege of Erixa Prime. They said I was a hero, but I didn't feel like one. Our enemies, the Karel, were a fragile biosilicon race, standing barely 4 feet tall, with translucent skin that shimmered under any light. Fragile-looking but fierce. Their weapons were organic, grown, not built. Their language, a mix of harmonic pulses and emotion-triggered scent clouds. In the early days of the war, we didn't even know how to communicate. Then we stopped trying. When the final treaty was signed, high-ranking soldiers were summoned to the capital for honors and rewards. I expected a medal, maybe another stripe on my uniform. Instead, they handed me a containment pod. Inside was a tiny Karel female, barely 3 feet tall, eyes closed, breathing slow. Her body was curled like a sleeping child, long hair floating in suspension fluid. "This is your commendation," said Admiral Stroud, his voice flat. "A gift. Bio-bound to your gene signature. You're her keeper now. She'll serve you however you see fit." I stared at the pod in stunned silence. "She's not a pet," I said. "She's alive. She's imprinted now. Fully obedient. Non-hostile. Think of her as a personal assistant." I wanted to throw the pod through the wall, but I didn't. I'd seen soldiers who disobeyed orders. I'd seen where they ended up. So I took her. Middle. I brought her back to my quarters on Lunar Base K-17. A sterile cube of recycled air, flickering lights, and solitude. The moment I activated the pod's release sequence, the fluid drained, and she collapsed into my arms. Lightweight, shivering, skin like frosted glass. She looked up at me with large silver eyes. No fear. Just silence. "Do you understand me?" "Yes." She nodded slowly. "What's your name?" Her lips parted. No sound came. Then she pressed her fingers to her chest. "Cylin." It was barely more than a whisper. From that moment on, she stayed close. Never more than a few feet away. She didn't eat unless I told her to. Didn't speak unless spoken to. She would kneel beside the window, watching Earth in the distance for hours, unmoving. At night, I'd find her sitting in the dark, humming a melody that made my chest ache. Something both alien and familiar, like a lullaby from another world. I couldn't treat her like a thing. Felt wrong. So I treated her like a guest. I gave her clothes, a space in the room, a chair at the table. She didn't seem to know what to do with any of it. One evening, I brought her a mug of warm synth tea. She took it carefully, cradling it in her delicate hands. "Why did they give me to you?" she asked, voice trembling. "I don't know," I admitted. She looked up at me. "I'm not a gift. I'm a punishment." My throat tightened. "Who punished you?" She tapped her forehead gently. "My people. For losing." Over the next several weeks, Cylin began to change. Or maybe I began to see her more clearly. She wasn't just quiet, she was intelligent, observant, absorbing everything I did, mimicking my routines, learning the station systems without ever being taught. One morning, I woke to find her reconfiguring my interface console, something only trained techs were allowed to do. "How do you know this?" "Yes. I see patterns," she said simply. "Your machines are loud. I listen." She could hear electrical pulses, feel magnetic shifts. She navigated the station's technology like it was part of her. And then came the incident. A plasma leak erupted in Section 4. 3 engineers were trapped. Emergency response systems failed. But Cylin didn't. She sprinted past the guards, slid into the airlock, and rerouted the pressure valves manually from inside the hazard zone. Her body glowed with bioresonance, harmonizing with the failing systems. She saved all 3. The commanding officer tried to debrief her, but she wouldn't speak. She just looked at me. Later that night I asked her why. "You're the only one who treats me like I'm not broken," she said. "You're not broken," I replied. "They called me a gift," she whispered. "But you called me a miracle." Ending. Word spread. Command took interest. Too much interest. Cylin was summoned for observation and study. They said she'd be returned in 48 hours. She never came back. I tried to pull rank to demand answers. They stonewalled me. "She's an alien asset," they said. "Not a citizen. Not your responsibility." But she was. I broke into the research sector. I still had clearance codes from my combat days. What I found chilled me. Cylin was in containment again. Only this time she was hooked to machines, wires in her skull, blood drawn into vials, her body trembling under cold lights. They were mapping her brain, trying to replicate her abilities. One scientist referred to her as the prototype. I shut it down. I overrode the security, disabled the locks, and carried her out. Sirens blared. I didn't care. We escaped in a docked shuttle and jump system. Had no plan. Just one purpose, to get her away. We disappeared into the outer colonies, living off-grid, changing names, hopping stations. I taught her Earth languages. She taught me how to listen to energy. We didn't just survive. We thrived. Cylin was more than advanced, she was evolution. The Karel had developed organic neural tech far beyond anything humans had. She could interface with systems through thought, heal minor wounds with harmonics, influence electronic devices with bioresonance. But more than that, she felt deeply. She cried the first time we saw children playing on a mining world. She danced in low gravity. She laughed when I tried to cook and nearly burned the station kitchen. She was life, raw, beautiful, brilliant. And I loved her. We built something new. Not just a hiding place, a haven. For others like her. Quiet whispers of other gifts traded in secret. I tracked them down. Freed who I could. Cylin healed them. Together we started the Miracle Project. Not just to shelter the forgotten, but to remind the galaxy that compassion wasn't weakness. It was strength. And for the first time in years, I wasn't just a soldier. I was human.